Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you on the occasion of 28th TIFAC Foundation Day and request you to kindly switch off your cell phones or put it on silent mode. We are extremely happy to have with us today eminent personalities of our times. Dr. Anil Kakodkar, Chairman TIFAC, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Gauri Devi, former VC NIMHANS, Professor Neeraj Jain, National Brain Research Center, Manesar, Professor Narayanan Srinivasan, Head, Center of Behavioral and Cognitive Sciences, University of Allahabad, Geshe Dorji Damdul, Director, Tibet House, New Delhi, and distinguished audience participating amongst us in the TIFAC Day celebration. On behalf of TIFAC, I deem it a pleasure to extend my very cordial welcome to all the dignitaries, invitees, guests, media persons, and TIFAC fraternity on this auspicious occasion of 28th Foundation Day. May I please request our honorable dignitaries to come up on the stage. Dr. Anil Kakodkar, our honorable chairman, sir. Professor Ashutosh Sharma, Dr. Prabhat Ranjan, our executive director, and Mr. Rishipal Singh, our registrar. A round of applause for our dignitaries, please. May I request our Honorable Executive Director, Dr. Prabhat Ranjan, to felicitate our dignitaries with bouquet. Honorable dignitaries, may I request you all to please grace this occasion with uniquely designed innovative lamp lighting ceremony. And for this, I would like to request Nikhilesh from NSIT to come up on the stage, please. I must thank Professor Gadre, Dhananjay Gadre from Department of Electronic and Communication Engineering and SIT Dwarka, for the brain behind this unique electronic diya. Ladies and gentlemen, we wish to start our celebration by a Vandana recital by the children from National Association for Blind, R.K. Puram, New Delhi. And it is my pleasure to announce the names of performing artists. Dushyant Mishra, Murad Khan on tabla, Sweetie Anand, Julie, Aisha, and Rajiv. A round of applause for this.
शारदा भवानी हे शारदा भवानी हे शारदा भवानी सुन लो अरज हमारी सुन लो अरज हमारी हे शारदा भवानी हे शारदा भवानी हे शारदा भवानी वीणा पानी हंसवाहिनी वीणा पानी हंसवाहिनी तुम हो मैया सबसे ज्ञानी तुम हो मैया सबसे ज्ञानी महिमा तेरी जग ने जानी महिमा तेरी जग ने जानी जाने सब संसार जाने सब संसार शारदा भवानी हे शारदा भवानी हे शारदा भवानी सुन लो अरज हमारी
सुन लो अरज हमारी शारदा भवानी शारदा भवानी शारदा भवानी
ज्ञान का सागर सुर का गागर ज्ञान का सागर सुर का गागर इतनी दया माँ कर दो हम पर इतनी दया माँ कर दो हम पर नारद जी को वीणा सिखाया नारद जी को वीणा सिखाया हमको दे दो ज्ञान हमको दे दो ज्ञान शारदा भवानी हे शारदा भवानी हे शारदा भवानी सुन लो अरज हमारे सुन लो अरज हमारे शारदा भवानी हे शारदा भवानी हे शारदा भवानी थैंक यू
नेशनल एसोसिएशन फॉर ब्लाइंड के इन सभी बच्चों का हार्दिक अभिनंदन और धन्यवाद। माँ सरस्वती की वंदना के बाद हम अपने कार्यक्रम को अगले चरण में ले जाएंगे। एंड आई वुड लाइक टू रिक्वेस्ट आवर एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर डॉक्टर प्रभात रंजन to welcome our guests and present glimpses of TIFAC activities. Dr. Prabhat Ranjan, Executive Director TIFAC since April 2013, is basically a nuclear fusion scientist. He has made major contribution to the field of nuclear fusion for nearly 2 decades in the national laboratories of India and US. He was educated in IIT Kharagpur and Delhi University, while he obtained a doctorate from University of California, Berkeley in 1986. His notable contribution in trying to help persons with severe disabilities through innovative technology such as brain-computer interface has not only won him awards, but also brought smiles on many faces. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Prabhat Ranjan.
So good evening. We have not only dignitaries on dais, but in the audience itself. So I welcome you all. And I'll move right on to the topic, which is to give you a glimpse of TIFAC activities. I'm going to move a little fast because I always have too many slides to show. But what I'm going to do is to try to cover into various topics like TIFAC was set up as a technology think tank. So our task is to look ahead in the future as to what is likely to happen on 10, 20 years time scale. So that I will cover in technology foresight activity. Then I will talk about some of the programs which I will put under nurturing innovation. There are a number of programs to support innovation. Then a new title I have created is called Leading Innovators. I will discuss what this is. Then we have had industry support programs for quite some time. We have brought some change to that. There are a few programs that I will put under capacity building, and there are a few other activities that I have clubbed together into one. And then connecting to young is a major task that we are looking forward to. So if I was to explain TIFAC in one sentence, it would be foresight with impact. So we have to not only do the thinking part, but we have to make sure the ground level things get done, even if we don't do it directly. Of course, many cases in the past we have done it directly, and we continue to do that. But our task is to not only think, but also make sure that impact takes place. So one of the major activity that our chairman is going to talk about is Technology Vision 2035. Way back in 95, 96, we had developed near Technology Vision 2020. At that time, Dr. Kalam was our chairman. For nearly after 20 years now, we are releasing the next Technology Vision, which is 2035. There's a major difference between the Technology Vision 2020 and 2035 that our chairman will explain. But right now, the status is that the draft document is ready. This document, along with 12 sectorial documents, are being prepared, and they are at different stages. In this process, we have taken help of large number of experts. Some of them are sitting here. But in addition to that, TIFAC itself has developed techniques of horizon scanning, driver identification, scenario building exercise, cross-impact analysis, patent analysis. All of this has gone into making of this document. We are also trying to have a dissemination plan which will make sure that dissemination takes place across the country at different geographical locations, plus uses technology to demonstrate what can happen in 20 years ahead. The 12 sector roadmaps that are going to be made ready are in the educational sector, medical sciences, healthcare, food and agriculture, water, energy, environment, habitat, transportation, infrastructure, materials, manufacturing, ICT. I'm not going to talk anything more about this because our chairman is going to talk about this later. Other activity that we started about a year back is horizon scanning process, where we keep track of all the global technological changes. Of course, we have to restrict to certain areas, but slowly we're adding to that. The technology intelligence that we are gathering from this is being put into our foresight. We maintain a Facebook page on this, and thousands of people are following us, including the Twitter account that is linked to this. Again, that is being followed by a large number of people. Following this exercise, what we are doing is that we are analyzing some of the technology news of importance, and we look at how it's going to impact India from different point of view: social, technological, environmental, economic, and political. And this we are putting out newsletters, so the size of these dots indicate the impact. It will have larger size and larger impact. So we are doing this process slowly. This is going to standardize over a period of 1 year, and we are going to involve large number of people in this. But one of the group we are trying to target is our women scientists. As you will see that we have trained more than 400 women scientists. I will talk about that later. And we plan to use their expertise in this activity as well. Other foresight studies that we are doing, one is in the area of security technology. Again, some of the experts are here. In this, we have identified 5 thematic areas: information and communication security, financial sector security, infrastructure and physical security, individual societal security, and natural resources, environment security. Some of these we are trying to club together. This work is in progress. We have nearly finished with a foresight exercise on solar photovoltaic, which hope to release in a month. We've been also helping National Mission on Electric Mobility. Again, that document is ready. We have given it to Department of Heavy Industries, and we'll finalize the document after they're okay with it. In addition, we have started to look at the possibility of doing quantitative foresight. And towards this, we have tried to do a number of internal sessions. We've also called some of the experts. Plus, we have a linkage with International Institute of Applied Systems Analysis. So we are trying to use their expertise as well in this exercise. So we have an Indian YASA program under which we represent India in this international institute, which does actually work on quantitative modeling, which connects science and technology with society and economy. A number of programs we are supporting with Indian partners. So we find Indian partners and combine them with YASA experts. All that activity is going on, but at the same time, we are also trying to internally set up a group to carry out similar activities. And we are focusing right now on cross-impact analysis of the 12 sectors that we have. So for example, if I make certain changes in water use, how it's going to impact other sectors like energy, environment, agriculture, and so on. This we want to do quantitatively, we are already doing qualitatively. One more thing we did was to start doing foresight training program. And we thought that Indian industry, some of them have resources at a global scale, but we are always technology followers, not technology leaders. So most cases, what happens by the time technology becomes known, it is already too late to get into that game. So what we are trying to do is to train large industries which have the resources at global scale so that 25, 30 years ahead of time, they can see what's likely to happen and they start working on that. And if they work on 10, maybe 2 or 3, we can become global technology leader as well. So Indian Oil Corporation, we have trained. In addition, we are having visitors from different countries. For example, Tanzania, we had a visitor. Now their team is going to come here and will provide training in this. We plan to approach different public sector units and other institutions in India to carry this forward whenever we have time. Right now, we've been a little busy with Technology Vision 2035 exercise. Let me come to the nurturing innovation part. We have 3 programs. One is Patent Facilitation Center. Another is Technology TRIMAP program, where we do technology transfer. And third program is Srijan program, where we scale up innovations. Either the Patent Facilitation Center, actually, which we run on behalf of DST. Of course, we are a DST autonomous body, but there's a special fund separately given by DST for this, where actually we file patents on behalf of all academic institutes, whether private or public, as well as all government R&D institutes, free of cost. We maintain the patents free of cost. We file patents abroad. We also carry out patent awareness program and so on. So you can see the statistics. I don't need to read. But some of these, now what we are trying to do is to take them further. And in some cases, we have requests, especially from some of the organizations which are under DST, to see if some of the patents they have can be commercialized. In addition, there's Inspire program of DST, where a lot of school students come into Delhi. I think there are about 800 of them. And we actually look at their projects to see if some of them can be filed for patents. So there also, we have been doing for the last 3 years. For 16 of them, we have done patent filing with complete specification, and 12 we have done provisional filing. In addition, we do patent awareness program, more than 450 we have organized so far. We also run, this center runs a women scientist program, which is to help women who had a mid-career break. And in this, we give them training in IPR. Some of them are present here. And out of this, we have trained about 400 women scientists in about 7 batches. Among them, 136 have become patent attorneys after patent agents after clearing the exams. And they have prepared more than